Joanie Ernst was at a town hall in Iowa. Joanie Ernst is up for re-election in 2026, and she's got a hell of a campaign slogan going on here, which you will get a sense of as this video plays. Obviously, these are constituents who are concerned about the pending Medicaid cuts, de facto practical Medicaid cuts in the new big, beautiful bill. So here they are raising some hell about that, and we'll see what reassurance she gives them.
When you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible, so they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes, folks.
Wow.
Well, we all are going to die. They said, but people are going to die. People will die if you cut them off from Medicaid.
So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So
for heaven's sake.
Wow.
Thanks for coming out to my town hall in Parkersburg today. Yeah, no, it went great. I always enjoy hearing from constituents and sharing my work to cut government red tape for you. Yes, trying to put some positive spin, but oof, took quite the ratio on that. Just 284 likes to 2.7 thousand comments. Wow. And this is on a pretty right of center platform now. This is what I mean. This is what Steve Bannon warned about. Hey, most of not most of MAGA, a lot of MAGA on Medicaid, so you can't do this shit. You're a horrible person. History is watching. You're such a despicable human being, says Raquel. John Carlos Hardwick says, all I can say is you're lucky your state is solid red now. Otherwise, that town hall would have cost you your re-election campaign. Don't be so sure it won't. Don't be so sure it won't. Iowa, stranger things have happened, obviously. Cole WK, I hope you're happy that you've gotten to have your own let them eat cake moment with your, well, we're all going to die comment. Yeah, she got pretty roasted here. Well, we're all going to die. What are things a sociopath would say for $400? Yes. Miscellany, your everyone is going to die remark should be front and center for every political ad of your opponent next year. Your lack of empathy makes you unqualified to represent the people of Iowa. This made, of course, front page in the Des Moines Register, which is the paper of record in Iowa. Well, we are all going to die. So all of this negative press, folks, compelled Joanie Ernst to record a very sincere apology video, as we will see right now. This is her response to voters' outrage over her saying, in response to someone's fear of dying for lack of health care, well, we're all going to die. She gets skewered for that in the paper, online, and this is what she decides to do in response to that.
Everyone, I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Wow. Wow. So that is her response.
When you can't blame the media, invoke Jesus.
Invoke Jesus and get really sarcastic. I should have brought up the tooth fairy as well.
Not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But
because the people in the audience who were saying people will die They're just stupid and immature.
Yeah.
That's their objection. They don't understand that people have to die for lack of affordable health coverage because that is what capitalism demands of us.
Mhm.
This is capitalism as a death cult. Do
Yeah.
not tell me capitalism is not a death cult. If you're watching this woman who says we're all going to die, she understands that the voter is concerned that people are going to die because they can't afford health insurance. Happens tens of thousands of times a year. This is the
Mhm.
only developed country on earth in which that happens at all, and it happens tens of thousands of times a year. And they raise that concern to her. She responds snarkily, saying, "We're all going to die." She understands the backlash that caused, and she
Mhm.
decides she's going to come out and she's going to be sarcastic and defiant and double down. That is capitalism as a death cult. That is the idea in practice that human beings exist to serve capitalism. Not that capitalism exists to serve human beings, not that people engineer economic systems in order to better themselves and better the group, but that economic systems are imposed on we mortals and we exist to serve them. That is what she believes. That is what you believe if you internalize that. And if you are not a rich person and you vote for Joanie Ernst, it can only be because you hate yourself. If
Yeah.
you are a rich person and you vote for Joanie Ernst, it's because you hate everybody else. Those are the only two scenarios there. It is just
Wh-
astounding how these are people who want, how could you vote for that person? How could you go into a voting booth and vote for that person given that? How?
Well, remember, I think really both her statement and her follow-up, it's a perfect encapsulation of the whole movement that she's a part of. It's very typical of the kind of conservative politics that we're really, and I use the word conservative loosely. There's an honorable tradition of conservatism represented by Thomas Massey, but these people who have come to represent it are just doing the politics of misdirecting people towards cultural resentments. So that is why she would think a follow up like that is a good idea because hey, it's worked so far
Right.
with the people who vote for them, right? This is you've got a country full of people who are economically dislocated, frustrated, angry, working hard, working 2, 3 jobs, very often demeaning jobs, delivery jobs, Walmart greeter jobs, just to keep a roof over their head. The American dream that they were told about, they play by all the rules, they're law abiding, all of that is out of reach. You got to have some kind of an explanation for it. Now, the Democrats will distract you with microaggressions and gender kabuki, and if economics come up at all, they're gonna tell you they want the Nordic model, but gosh darn it, those Republicans, they just won't let us. But
Right.
if you vote harder, you'll get it. Now the Republicans can't play that, but because of their nature in the conversation, they have to take that anger that people feel and they have to direct it at kind of nebulous cultural elites who are keeping you down. And they are those elites, but they're much better than the Democrats at pretending they're not, at pretending that's their brand. That's their brand. George Bush to the manor born couldn't be more blue blood than that. Yeah, well, I'm clearing scrub on my ranch.
Right.
Like that. That's their whole shtick. And Donald Trump saying, yeah, I like soldiers that weren't captured about John McCain. I'm no fan of John McCain. I respect the fact that that guy stayed in a POW camp when he could have left. They were torturing him. I wouldn't. I
Right.
wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, I can leave. All right. I'm out of here. He refused to do that. That's incredible. I mean, I hate a lot of what he did over the course of his career, but to attack that as the one good thing in his biography in regards to how he conducted himself in that prison camp. But it worked for him, right? He only got more popular after that because it doesn't even matter what the content is. Like that was really a moment that should have been discussed more. Like everything you've seen about the MAGA movement was right there. The seed of it was right there in the way they reacted to that. It wasn't about the substance, it was about the style. It was about the style of resentment and someone's getting away with something and I'm a big tough person and some signaling about self-sufficiency. Like it doesn't really have to add up. That's why she would do that, because it's worked for them thus far.
Yeah, but this is a different situation. It's a different situation.
Sure. Well, it's a different time.
Yeah,
a different time because now they got all the power they could ask for, and they're not going to deliver.
Yeah.
So this shit is going to start to wear thin very quickly.
Yeah, and it's a different race. It's a different dynamic. It's not a national campaign between. It's not a competition between two cults of personality. These midterm elections are about high propensity voters who vote based on wonky shit. And this is not only wonky shit. This is wonky shit with existential stakes for people.
Right.
I would not be surprised if she lost. I would not be surprised if, assuming we have free and fair elections, a lot of these Republicans end up losing. Iowa is not a 20-point margin state. It's not.
That does seem like, I forget the guy's name, the guy who was running against McCaskill. By all rights, she should have lost, and he claimed that legitimate rape doesn't get women pregnant.
Yeah, right.
It seems like one of those.
Yeah.
Where like that guy should have won,
right,
but that was just insurmountable.
Yeah. Could be.
Please clap.